Hey guys, how's it going? We're back with hot takes, and we're starting off with Scuffy4930. Transformers Prime was a mixed bag. Is that even a hot take anymore? It feels like so many of these hot takes are just people talking about how much they dislike Prime. I'm starting to feel bad for Prime. I thought I was the only person who disliked that show, but no, apparently that's a more common thing than I would have thought. Maximum Prime Toys 38. I think that the G1 designs are not the best, and G1 fans are going to burn me at the stake for this one. I agree. I think that a lot of the G1 designs are really rough by today's standards. But, you know, I don't know. I feel like the majority of the fandom would agree with you on that one. I think it's just like some of the more vocal G1ers who would get really upset at someone saying that G1 designs were not the peak of Transformers design work. What is that username? N7A7Lim? I don't even know. So, Transformers The Ride 3D is good fun and a good ride. It gets memed on because it's Bayverse and because the Universal has a ton of other better simulator rides. But three things. First of all, as a certified Bayfirst hater, the realistic Transformers continuity melding with real-life sets is actually a cool concept. Second of all, the ride system is better than people give it credit for. It does a really good job matching the movement of the screens for its ride type, and the managers hide 4 elevator shafts from the riders. And third, most important, it's genuinely fun to ride. I wish the projectors were higher definition, and that's where it shows its age, but other than that, it's still good fun. So I've never been on Transformers The Ride, but people like it. And the reason I like it is because there's that Megatron out front who just shit-talks people. It's great. We're continuing on now. Armada was actually good. If the dialogue sucking is too much for you, watch Legends of the Microns subbed in English. It's a much more polished show that way. The show's other biggest flaw is that the front half is a bit slow, but the back half definitely makes up for it. So yeah, I agree with all that. Armada is a great show. It has a ton of unique storytelling and characters to it, and I feel like it was let down a ton by Energon and Cybertron. 3. I hang out both in toy collector circles and the fan art fanfic circles in the TF fandom. There's more overlap than people think, and neither of them is better than the other. They both have some really interesting meta about Transformers. They're both fun to hang out with, and they both have annoying sides. Is there a fandom rivalry between the toy collecting circles and the fan art circles? I didn't know about that. Is that real? I just assumed we were all in this together. Maybe I'm very naive. Huh. Okay. Alright, Lego AWC Stop Motioner 9435. Jesus Christ, okay. I think Devastator is overrated. His design is cool, but it's a little too symmetrical. I like how the other combiners like Bruticus look like a bunch of random bots smashed together. Also, none of the individual Constructicons get fleshed out that much compared to the Combaticons or Protectobots. Yo! Scrapper has way more personality than any of the Protectobots. Oh, what? Scrapper doesn't have as much personality as Swindle? No one has as much personality as Swindle. Swindle got voiced by Fred Willard, for God's sakes. I don't know. First of all, I do want to say this. I really love your PFP. I don't mean to get off base, but I like this PFP. It looks really cool. In terms of Devastator, I get what you're saying. There's a more Devastator than there is any other combiner in terms of media appearances, in terms of toys. But Devastator still works for me because he was the combiner that was given the most prestige in G1, and he's the first one. Kind of like Andre the Giant. There's better wrestling giants, but Andre was the first famous one. So he's always going to be the best in a lot of people's minds. And also, I will not stand for this Scrapper slander. Scrapper is the best. Okay, so we got Trans Metal Waspinator now. There's a certain point where you could add a lot of characters with specific real-world race cars as alt modes are disguised as collector replicas of said cars that aren't street legal but meant for car shows and private display. Is that a hot take? That doesn't even feel like a hot take. That just feels like a headcanon. I mean, it's cool. Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. 2. I think we should work backwards and de-Seekerize characters who are redecos body doubles for Starscream. So essentially giving the Seekers their own unique bodies and alt modes. I can dig that. I think that's cool. I would really like Seekers to look the same in robot mode, but then have different jet modes. I think that'd be cool. Or, of course, just go and make them all look very different. I'd like that, too. I think the Seekers could use that at this point. But me, Prime is mediocre. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of Prime hot takes in this. And then, also, I found myself more interested in the toys than the media. That's fair. I think that's the way a lot of Transformers fans are. For me, it's always going to be I need to like the media to like the toys. That's just how it is. Enemy 2.0. I want a new toy line that's like classics, new designs that take from old ones, no show, just a new toy line. It will take up generations, as SS is basically becoming generations. I'm so tired of old stuff that they don't even do right. Give us stuff and reveal the Shield Jazz, the best jazz mold. I can agree with that. It would be nice to have something new put into like the original designs. That's kind of what they're doing with Overgear right now, but I would like to see it like at general mass retail. It'd be nice. Adora Kenny. Blokees is the best thing to happen in Transformers toys in over a decade. I totally agree with you, Adora Kenny. I'll take it a step further. I think Blokees is one of the best things to ever happen in Transformers, period. I love Blokees. Alright. Wild Times. Beast Wars Uprising isn't a good microcontinuity. People only liked it for two reasons: Alone Together and the toys. Most of the time the stories range from passable to borderline incoherent. I can agree with that to a certain extent. I think the main story of Beast Wars Uprising is really solid, and that's because it was done by like two writers. But like everything with the BotCon convention, then a ton of people were all put on it, and then it became rambling and incoherent. I hated that issue, the change in the agenda where they try to do the backstory, and it's like you kind of ruined it. But there's things I like about an Uprising, aside from Alone Together. Like, I think Leo Convoy is cool. I like their take on Cyber Shark. Megatron as, like, the Kingpin is super sick. There's stuff there, but I also understand that it's probably not going to be a lot of people's cup of tea. Classic Toy Reviews 7435. Hot take. G1 designs have run their course and need to stop. Totally agree. Is that even a hot take anymore? Okay, what is this? This is like JTank117. Hot take of mine. Not only do I really believe Dark of the Moon is the best movie in Bayverse, but the best movie in the whole franchise. It has an amazing story with a lot of darker tones to it. The suspense, the action, the cast, everything, down to its core, is just perfectly crafted. Not only is Dark of the Moon a cinematic masterpiece, it made $1.12 billion. Its toy line was just fantastic, especially the mech tech figures. Although the Revenge of the Fallen has the best toy line, Hunt for the Dune, Dark of the Moon is just fantastic media. Also, the prequel Comics Foundation are a fantastic story. So I do genuinely believe that Dark of the Moon is better than TF1. I do enjoy TF1. My main problem is that Method Designs movie I don't really quite enjoy. I might just be maybe because of the Bayverse and the Align guy. I do enjoy how much TF1 took from the Align, making the movie great. TF1 is just not my type of Transformers media. Bayverse forever. Wow. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. So, yeah, Dark of the Moon doing $1.2 billion. Pet Rocks sold 1 million Pet Rocks. But Dark of the Moon being a cinematic masterpiece. Jesus Christ. I rewatched Dark of the Moon recently with a friend. I want you guys to know, we all have ups and downs in life. We all have our own paths to travel. And after watching Dark of the Moon, like, my eyes were open. They were stinging because I couldn't blink. I felt numb because there's so much shit. It's explosions, people dying. There's no joy. There's nothing to fight for. It's nihilistic. It's edgy. I would rather go back to my dad beating me as a kid than ever watch Dark of the Moon again. Like that, I'm just being as real with you as possible. Dark of the Moon fucking took away my will to live, dude. I was in my chair, just numb. My body had started to shut down. My body was like, no, we can't do this. We can't do this anymore. I can't take this shit no more, man. That's my take on Dark of the Moon. I'm glad you like it. Cinematic masterpiece. Jesus Christ. Okay. Hulk Hoagie Breadmaster. My hot take. Jurassic Park Tyrannotron is a better Grimlock design than the actual Grimlock. Or actual Beast Wars Grimlock. I do like Tyrannotron. She's a cool looking character. Also, Megatron should always be an air vehicle and a devastating badass robot. I actually don't like Megatron as an air vehicle, because to me, I wonder why would you need Starscream? I think it works for Megatron to be a tank, because then it also makes sense as to why Starscream is so important to the Decepticons. Halfway decent productions. I want another radical design shift for the Transformers, something we haven't really seen since the Bayverse. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the last time we've had a radical change to the designs is probably like Prime, yeah. Well, no, I mean, already 2015 had radical designs. It's just they didn't get toys, is the problem. DSS Car Salesman 5994. Japanese Transformers is absolutely phenomenal. It shouldn't be shunned from Hasbro and have every character treated like a villain. That's fair. I kind of hate that that Star Saber got dealt the hand he was given in IDW 1.0. But, you know, it happens. Wheeljack Stratos, 1984. Kiss all. Check that guy's hard drives now. Daria the Lazy. I think that instead of fighting Megatron and Optimus, they should make out already. Yes! Yeah, they should. I want Optimus to keep the mouth plate up, but I do want to see them make out. They'll find a way to make it work. They'll kiss through the faceplate. Transformers TIE 2. Transformers 1 Optimus Prime doesn't look good, and Orion Pax looks better. I agree with that. I actually am not a big fan of Optimus's appearance at the end of the movie, but Orion Pax has a pretty solid look throughout. I actually think he looks the best when he's cogless. Rare Zenth. G1 Soundwave is simply the best. Is that even a hot take? I think most people would just agree with that. It's good Soundwave. Daria the Lazy again. I suppose my questionable hot take is that we could use more Transformers media that isn't based on the Autobot-Decepticon conflict or isn't about wars. As much as I like that, there's so many different sides of Cybertronian culture to explore. I don't know, maybe a city builder game that's set on Cybertron, a humongous dating sim where you operate a car wash and all kinds of mechs are your clients. That would be sick. Oh, that would be so good though, actually. Like that would be good though. But why haven't they done that? That would be great. I want a dating sim where you're just doing a car wash. Racing game, but Transformers, where there's the track. Dude, Mario Kart Transformers would be so cool. Mario Kart Transformers would be amazing. I love that. I'm kind of surprised we've never had that. Walter Lopez 5054. I don't care much for the Skybound comics. They play it too safe. It's a competent retelling of the Sunbow G1, but that's all it is, a retelling, a refinement of a story I've heard already. I think that's fair, Walter, but also I think the strength of Skybound is that it brought in a bunch of comic fans that hadn't been into Transformers before, and for them, it was good to start off simple, and now they're kind of doing their own thing, getting further away from that original Sunbow. Resnotronics. I never liked Bumblebee. I thought it was weird that he was in every project, how he and Optimus, odd, sometimes depicted as father and son. I actually prefer father and son. I hate it whenever it's like Bumblebee is Optimus Prime's old friend. Like, that's actually a thing I dislike about Transformers 1, the idea that Bumblebee and Optimus are like the same age. I really prefer the idea that Optimus, like Bumblebee, is under Optimus's wing. I think that's when their relationship is the best. Pancake Waffle 301. I hate Transformers animated because the designs and characters are just horrible. The only good character is Blitzwing. The quote-unquote Optimus that is in that show isn't Optimus. That is just a soft, wet towel on the bathroom floor, and the designs don't look like they can even transform, and that little Transformers animated like, yeah, this doesn't look like it's happening in real life. The human is just unsalvageable, and the Bumblebee is just annoying, and I like Bumblebee, and I will defend the other versions to death. Oi. Pancake Waffle. Commas and periods. I don't know. I like animated. I also understand animated's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I do find it funny that, like, Blitzwing is who everyone is agreed, like, no, we're not going to knock Blitzwing, because Pancake Waffle, you're not alone. I know so many people who hate animated, but really like that take on Blitzwing. I think it speaks to, like, how cool that version was. It was a very nice reinvention of Blitzwing. Gave him a lot more personality. Pooltastic. I guess I have a couple. Shark Glass is absolutely slept on. As far as toys, it should be a shoe-in for Hashtag on a at least yearly basis. As far as story potential, it is literally limitless and would be in the mature-oriented niche better than anything that came before. just from the fact that the heroes you are supposed to root for are now the Decepticons. Aesthetics-wise, it is equally limitless, as they does not have to be a simple overriding theme. G1, Beast Era, RID, Unicron Trilogy, Prime, everything is on the table. Hell, do an IDW 1 and bring in all the designs. The amount of squandering here is bordering on criminal. Poltastic, I'm going to be a cynic. You're using the word limitless. I'm going to say hodgepodge. Yeah, you're right. You can bring in any aesthetic because they stole from every aesthetic. The storytelling is literally limitless as long as we're willing to reference other Transformers things. That's the problem with Shattered Glass, is that Shattered Glass as a story has to be reactionary. You have to have a reflection of a character that already exists and is known at least somewhat. Like, there isn't many Shattered Glass characters that are famous for their Shattered Glass selves, you know what I mean? Like, Starscream, Optimus, and Heatwave. Those are the three. They're like, the Shattered Glass versions are the famous versions of them. And even then with Optimus and Starscream, there's 20 famous versions of them. But okay. We should have kept the civilian versus military theme with faction-exclusive alt modes. Autobots should not have tanks and fire jets. Decepticons should not have construction equipment. Okay. Poltastic, you are not going to sit here and act like Scrapper didn't show up day one for the Decepticons. He believes in the working man. That's why he sided with Megatron, Poltastic. Okay. System4935. My hot take is there needs to be more women Transformers at different price points. I totally agree with you. Jesus Christ. The fact that we only get women at, like, Deluxe. No, there should be Voyagers, there should be Leaders. We still don't have a toy of Alita's G1 design. Think about that. We don't have a good Voyager of G1 Alita 1 yet. And I think we absolutely do need that. Also, they would like a Generation or Studio Series comic edition of Lug and Anode. I totally agree. Lug and Anode deserve toys. They are very important to Transformers and IDW. I don't even know if that's a hot take. That's just, you're right. You're correct. Tiberius Cosmic Pig 1716. I love overcomplicated transformations. I love spending 15 minutes slowly transforming an insanely over-engineered figure. Is this... Okay, no, this is legit. I was like, are you being sarcastic? Because this is written in, like, the most sarcastic way possible. I don't know, man. I like my transformations to have, like, a good flow and ebb to them. And I don't feel like you can get that with an overcomplicated transformation. But that's just me. Oh, Tiberius Cosmic Pig again. More Than Meets the Eye needs way more love, both in the franchise and in the toys, third party or not. And Soundwave is just slightly overrated. Yeah, I think More Than Meets the Eye was a great comic, and it's a shame that there's still a lot of characters that don't have good toys, like Nautica. And then Soundwave is cool, Soundwave is great, but Soundwave is just a touch overplayed nowadays, probably, I think. Noah Grant, MO4ZI. I love the exclusive characters in the first few Bayverse movie toy lines. Dude, some of those toys are so good. Like, RC was great. Stockade is great. Dropkick was great. Big Daddy was great. Grindcore, Fracture, Long Arm. Cool toys. Great toys. Love them. Landmine, one of the best. Jack of All Claws, 6672. I genuinely don't know if this counts as a hot take per se, but I'll say it anyways. We need more female primes. I mean, yeah, how many do we have? We have Solus and Splendid, I think. Those are the only two. We absolutely need more. But, yeah, I think that just more diversity in design and character would always be good for Transformers. Starscream's a lot. Here we go. Transformers Prime... Why does everybody hate Transformers Prime now? Is this a thing? Okay, I like Transformers Cybertron more than Beast Wars. Well, that's a hot take. The Earthrise Seeker mold is better than Siege. To me, that's apples and oranges. I like them both for different reasons. But okay, Starscream's a lot. A couple of hot takes there. Ninja Sam 2504. War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron designs are severely overrated. They are mostly mid and should definitely not be the definitive designs for any Transformer. Those designs are still really important to me, and as a teenager, I love them a lot, but I kind of agree with you. Nowadays, I look back on a lot of them, and they're really puffy and rough. The aesthetics or the proportions at the very least, are very, very strange for a lot of the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron characters. Yeti5191. My main hot take is that Transformers hot take is that I think the Decepticons need some major reshuffling, whether that is to take some of the big four or reinventing them. For example, Starscream being less openly treacherous and being far calmer and calculating would be interesting to see. So, essentially, you just want them to play with the characters a lot more. And I think that'd be fine. I think you absolutely should do that, because we've been doing the same story for a pretty long time in Transformers. It'd be nice to see some new stuff. Alright, I think we're going to do one more hot take, and then we're going to call it a video here. Eggo Mace Sandwich 6942. So, Blokees figures are superior compared to 80% of the Transformers nowadays. Yep, love Blokees. Blokees are the best, and you're even hitting it here. Blokees are cheaper. Blokees have great character selection. Now, they do need to do some major characters still. Good God, we still need Elita 1 and RC. Like, we need more women in the Galaxy version. And it'd be great to get another wave of TF1, but in terms of what you're getting, in terms of the characters you're getting, in terms of the quality of the toys, Blokees are amazing. They have been amazing, and they continue to be amazing. But alright, on that note, we're going to call it here. We'll get back to hot takes eventually. But until then, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And hey, we'll see what we get up to next time.